कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते महाविष्णु स्वामी नामिने नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती गौरवाणी प्रसारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे हरे थैंक यू मच वृंदावन when we decide the verse mother is available.
Do you want to share? Do you want me to share? I can share if you want.
Okay, yeah. Okay, Hare Krishna everyone. Welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam class. This morning we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 10, the divisions of the creations, and we're on text 18 to 21 today. With that, let's recite some prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet Nashtapraya Svabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhakti Vinaystuti. Hare Krishna. Text 18. सर इमे प्राकृता सर्गा वैकृतानपि मे शृणु रजो भाजो भगवतो लीलेयं हरिमेधसः सरिमे प्रकृताः सर्गा वैकृतानपि मे शृणु रजो भाजो भगवतो लीलेयं हरिमेधसः सर इमे प्रकृताः सर्गा वैकृतान् अपि मे शृणु रजो भाजो भगवतो लीलेयं हरिमेधसः. Hare Krishna. If anyone like to read the verse, we can, follow this verse and then other verses I can just read.
Sadi me prakita saga, vaikritan hapi me shvinu, bhaju bhaju bhagavato, liliyam hari me dasa. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Rubu. Others?
कृष्ण
Hare Krishna.
तद इमे प्रकटाः सर्ग वैकृतान् अपि मे शृणु राजो भजो भगवतो लीलेयं हरिमेधसः. हरे कृष्ण.
Thank you, Rubu.
Sadime Prakrita Sarga Vaikritam Api Me Shrunu Rajo Bhajo Bhagavato Lilyam Hari Medasa. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Sadi ime prakritaha sarga vaikritana api me shruno rajo bhajo bhagavato lileyama hari me dasha.
Shari me prakrita sarga vaikritanapि me shrinu rajo bhajo bhagavato lileyam harimedasa.
Anyone else? Okay, word for word. Sat 6. Ime, all these. Prakritaha, of the mortal energy. Sargaha, creations. By Kritan, secondary creations by Brahma. Api, also. Me, from me. Shrinu, just here. Raja Bhajaha, of the incarnation of the mode of passion, Brahma. Bhagavataha, of the greatly powerful, Leela, pastime, Iyam, this, Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Medhasaha, of one who has such a brain. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. All the above are natural creations by the external energy of the Lord. Now hear from me about the creations by Brahma, who is an incarnation of the mode of passion, and who, in the matter of creation, has a brain like that of the personality of Godhead. Text 19. Saptamo mukhya sargastu sarvidhastastu samchaya vanaspatya sadhilata toksara virudho drumaha. Synonyms. Saptamaha, the seventh. Mukhya, principal. Sargaha, creation. Tu, indeed. Sadvidaha, six kinds of. Tasthusam, of those who do not move. Cha, also. Yaha, those. Vanaspati, fruit trees without flowers. Osadhi, trees and plants existing until the fruit is ripe. Lata, creepers. Toksaraha, pipe plants. Virudaha, creepers without support. Drumaha, trees with flowers and fruits. Translation. The seventh creation is that of the immovable entities, which are of six kinds: the fruit trees without flowers, trees and plants which exist until the fruit is ripe, creepers, pipe plants, creepers which have no support, and trees with flowers and fruits. Text 20. Utsrotasastama antasparsa visheshinaha. Synonyms. Utsrotasaha. They seek their subsistence upwards. Tamaha prayaha, almost unconscious. Anta sparsaha, slightly feeling within. Visesinaha, with varieties of manifestation. Translation. All the immovable trees and plants seek their subsistence upwards. They are almost unconscious, but have feelings of pain within. They are manifested in variegatedness. Text 21. Tirastam sarga Sostavinsad mataha Avido bhuritamaso Ghranagyariddya vedinaha. Synonyms. Tirastam, species of lower animals. Astamaha, the eighth. Sargaha, creation. Saha, they are. Astabimsat, 28. Vidaha, varieties. Mataha, considered. Avidaha, without knowledge of tomorrow. Bhuri, extensively. Tamasaha, ignorant. Ghanagya, can know desirables by smell. Riddhya Vedinaha, can remember very little in the heart. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The eighth creation is that of the lower species of life, and they are of different varieties, numbering 28. They are all extensively foolish and ignorant. They know their desirables by smell, but are unable to remember anything within the heart. Purport. In the Vedas, the symptoms of the lower animals are described as follows. अथेतरेषां पशुनः असनापिपासे एवाविविज्ञानं न विज्ञातम् वदन्ति न विज्ञातं पश्यन्ति न विदु स्वस्थानं न लोकाविति यद्वा भूरि तमसो बहुरुषा घ्राणेनैव जानन्ति हृद्यं प्रति सोप्रियं वस्तु एव विन्दन्ति भोजन Sayanadya artham grinanti. Lower animals have knowledge only of their hunger and thirst. They have no acquired knowledge, no vision. Their behavior exhibits no dependence on formalities. Extensively ignorant, they can know their desirables only by smell. And by such intelligence only can they understand what is favorable and unfavorable. Their knowledge is concerned only with eating and sleeping. Therefore, even the most ferocious lower animals, such as tigers, can be tamed simply by regularly supplying meals and accommodations for sleeping. Only snakes cannot be tamed by such an arrangement. Hare Krishna. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरू श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Before I speak on this glorious verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, I would like to take the blessings and permission from all the assembled devotees here in Shrimland. Vanchakalpadavyaścha kripa sindhubhyo patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So we're reading from Canto 3rd, the status quo, and the chapter 10 name is Divisions of the Creations. And we read until the 6th creation yesterday. And Her Grace Madhavi Gaurangi Mataji very nicely reviewed the whole context, the 10 topics of Srimad Bhagavatam, starting with Sarga, Visarga, Sthanam, Poshanam, Uttaya, Manvantara, Ishanukatha, Nirodha, Mukti, and Ashraya. And then she also explained very briefly about all those 10 topics. And then she also reviewed very nicely up to the current verse of this chapter. So in this chapter, we're reading about the 10 divisions of creations. Again, I'm repeating what she said yesterday. 6 primary creations, 3 are secondary, and 1 is mixed. It comes in both Prakrita and Vaikrita, both creations, right? So primary creations are done by Lord Mahavishnu, or the Supreme Lord himself, and these secondary creations are being done by Lord Brahma. In the last one, the 10th one is the comes under mixed. And I think in yesterday's no, it comes in the following verses that it says that 4 Kumaras is an example of the mixed creation. Like they were created by Lord Brahma, but after meditating onto the Supreme Lord, right? So that means the Lord also created them. So kind of created by both Brahma and Lord. That's why 4 Kumaras come in the mixed kind. So when I just say this, it's not easy to grasp. So I have 10 divisions I've made in a slide, so it's easy to put points together. Let's pull that one up. Stuck. Sorry, I can't. Why is it stuck? It's stuck. Close it. Excuse me. It was stuck, so I'll open it again. Okay, it's coming up. So 10 divisions of creations. So till verse, it started from verse 15 to 17. the first creation was Mahatattva, which is the sum total of material ingredients. And then second was false ego. Third, sense perception, tanmatras, sight, smell, taste, sound, and touch. Fourth creation was the creation of knowledge and working capacity. That means the karmendriya and gyanendriya. Fifth creation is the controlling deities of the interaction of mode of goodness. By the interaction of mode of goodness, I mentioned Madhuri Gauri Mataji said in detail yesterday. And then the sixth one was the ignorant darkness. That is also the primary creation created by the Lord. And then today's verse, we're going to talk about secondary creation, not all, but few of them. So the seventh creation is immovable entities. We saw in the translation, Srila Prabhupada wrote about these 6 kinds. The fruit trees without flowers, trees and plants which exist until the fruit is ripe, example tomatoes, creepers, pipe plants, creepers which have no support, trees with flowers and fruits. And then in the eighth creation is the lower species of life, which is our last verse today. There are 28 kinds. We'll go in detail in that one. And then further, the next verses will be coming. We'll talk about the ninth creation, which is human being, and the 10th is a mixed creation, demigods, especially 4 Kumaras come in that one. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so those are our 10 creations. So we learned about 5th and 6th creation yesterday, right? And then again, the 5th creations are the creation of the 10 controlling deities of the senses plus mind, and the 6th creation is, it's kind of bewildering because it says that the creation of ignorant darkness, which is the Lord's creation. And Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, it says, ignorant darkness by which the master acts as a fool. So in the purport, actually Srila Prabhupada writes, I'll just read just the one which makes sense for today's class. After the creation of the demigods, all the entities are covered by the darkness of ignorance. Each and every living being in the material world is conditioned by his mentality of lording it over the resources of material nature. Although a living entity is the master of the material world, he is conditioned by ignorance, by the false impression of being the proprietor of material things. So if you remember, and if any of you, I know yesterday many of us went to New York Rath Yatra, so you can watch the Madhavi Gaurangi Mataji's class, recorded class. She very nicely explained about the concept of avidya and its interaction with 3 modes. Actually, it was very nice, very clearly elaborated. Just to recap, the false ego, because this is the connecting point with the primary creation and the secondary creation. Because after the 5 things created, Lord creates the ignorance, right? So, and this ignorance, the false ego, when it interacts with the modes of material nature, we get different things. Like if the false ego interacts with the mode of ignorance, that gives the if you remember, and I mean, we can again go back to Madhavi Gaurangi's class and see that chart she shared about the Saktis. There are the 3 energies are produced from the interaction of false ego with the modes of material nature. So when it interacts with mode of ignorance, we get Drabya Sakti. Drabya Sakti means the actually the gross material elements, like the like these, all these things, like she gave example of mobile and all this stuff, right? And that also means like the 5 gross elements of earth, water, fire, air, ether. And then 5 tanmatras means the senses, like the sense of touch, sense of smell, taste, what else, sight and sound, right? And then after the mode of passion, interaction with the mode of passion creates Kriya Sakti. That is, when we have things, we need the action now, right? So Kriya Sakti also, when means the 10 senses, like 5 working senses and 5 knowledge acquiring senses, which helps us to manipulate those gross elements which were created with the mode of ignorance, right? And then comes the mode of goodness. So when the false ego interacts with the mode of goodness, then comes Jnana Sakti, that is our mind. And also, as said in the fifth creation, is controlling deities, right? 10 sense demigods. Okay, why I'm saying this is because of this sixth creation, the ignorant darkness, living entities who is actually superior to the mortal energies compared to the mortal nature, all those gross things, right? Mortal things, completely gets bewildered and acts as a fool. And then the last line, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport of 17th verse, yesterday's verse, he writes, he says that by the influence of darkness, the conditioned soul forgets his relationship with the Supreme Lord and is overwhelmed by attachment, hatred, pride, ignorance, and false identification. The 5 kinds of illusion that causes mortal bondage. And again, Madhavi Gauranga Madhiji explained about those 5 kinds of illusion yesterday. All right, those 5 kinds of illusion, and she also explained how that 5 kinds of illusion, or the avidya in total, can be cut. I was going to ask a question as a quiz, like what did she say to cut those illusions? But if anyone wants to say, there were not many yesterday, so who remembers? She said the last thing yesterday, like how explained about all those 5 kind of illusion.
Hare Krishna,
Yamada Suman.
Madhuri. Yeah, I think she said the gap with the knowledge, we remove all this illusion, all these 5 kinds of illusion with the knowledge.
Yes, knowledge
Because
from
knowledge from, I don't know, sacrifices.
spiritual master. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
spiritual master, okay.
He said, what was that one? Chakshudan Diluje. Janme Janme Prabhu said, she said that Guru Bandana prayers, that part, right? So the spiritual master, the knowledge coming from the parampara, will help us to cut the chain of avidya. Okay, that was till yesterday. So now, from today's verse, Maitreya Muni is speaking further, going into Visarga. That was Sarga. Now we're going to the second topic, Visarga, right? So in 18th verse, our first verse, I'll read the translation from Srila Prabhupada. All the above are natural creations by the external energy of the Lord. Those we just spoke about, right? All those are 6 creations. Now hear from me about the creations by Brahma, who is an incarnation of the mode of passion and who, in the matter of creation, has a brain like that of the personality of Godhead. Now he's going to explain Visarga, the secondary creation, from the next verse onwards, but not this verse. He just says about I'm going to speak, right? So this 18th verse is a connecting verse between the Sarga and Visarga. And the speaker, now Maitreya Muni is taking an opportunity actually to glorify Lord Brahma. He's indicating that Lord Brahma is a Saktyavis avatar of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the verse he says, what is it? Rajo Bhajo Bhagavato. Bhagavato is the Lord. Rajo Bhajo. Rajo means Rajogun, the incarnation of mode of passion, which is Lord Brahma. And he says in the last line, Lileyam Hari Medhasaha, right? Brain like the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That means Brahma is using his intelligence obtained from the 100 celestial years of penance, like in previous verse somewhere, 8, 9 verses. It is said that he did that austerity, that penance for 100 celestial years, right? And so here, Lilayam Harimedhasa, with that penance, he got that intelligence, that Medhasa, and he's going to use now to do the creation, right? To create is not simple thing. And so for creation, we need some kind of, we need that energy, or the empowerment, I should say, empowerment. And that empowerment comes from the Lord. Lilayam Harimedasaha. So Lord Brahma is going to create, but he's not going to create from nothing. He's going to create from those primary creation already done from Sarga, right? All those elements already created by the Lord. Now he's going to use those Mahatattva, those elements, and going to create the secondary creation. And it's nice. It's Father's Day today, and we're talking about creation and all, which actually is the father thing, I should say. Okay, and 19, verse 19. Let me read 19's translation. These verses only have translation, and the 21st verse. 19. The seventh creation is that of the immovable entities, which are of 6 kinds. We saw that in the slide. The fruit trees without flowers, trees and plants which exist until the fruit is ripe. Third is creepers. 4 pipe plants. 5 creepers which have no support, and trees with flowers and fruits. This is verse 19. So these all these immovable plants and trees, they are also known as sthavara jivas. They are also jivas. Those do not move. Sthavara means they stay still. They move. We know because of the roots, right? But still, not. They move subtly. That we don't like not like us. So those that do not move are also called sthavara jivas. So although they appear lifeless, but they are jivas. But with very limited consciousness or recovered consciousness. That is another topic. And here it says, okay, and verse 20. Let's read verse 20 also. It's more explanation on those Stavara Jivas. Translation. All the immovable trees and plants seek their subsistence upwards. They are almost unconscious, but have feelings of pain within. They are manifested in paragativeness. So the main point here, Srila Prabhupada's writing the translation is, seek subsistence upwards. Utsrotasaha, the Sanskrit word is utsrotasaha. They seek substance upwards. Right? There are 3 kinds. Basic substance upward, seek substance downward, and seek substance horizontally. Right? I think it is coming in further verses, but these jivas, they seek substance upward, means they, the roots, they suck water, they take water, and it goes upward. And the plants, they turn to the sunlight, look for the natural light. They seek subsistence upward. They don't take water or the nutrients from the leaves inside. Let's not go to the whole life cycle or the process, but in a simple layman term, they take substance upward, from the downwards to upward. But what we human do, we take up, it goes downwards. We take from mouth and it goes to our belly. So belly is downwards. We don't, like it's not the other way. So the plants and all these Thavara jivas, they seek substance upwards. What is that? Utsrotasaha. And then we human being is downward. We take from the mouth and it goes down. So we seek substance downward. And then there are horizontal also. What are they? They are the animal kingdom, the animals, the 4-legged animals. Because they not stand. They stand on their four limbs, and it's like their belly and their mouth are like kind of in the horizontal level, so they are horizontal. Okay. Anyway, in this verse 19 and 20, we're talking about the Stavra Jivas. I mean, that means plants and trees, right? So, what we can learn from these two verses, like even though they are helpless, most helpless being, they naturally reach upward toward the light. Their consciousness is very limited or even covered. They don't know anything, but they are living being. They are jivas. What they do, they naturally reach upward toward the light. That means just trying to uh, assimilate these two. Similarly, or just as we reach toward Krishna, towards the light, these plants and trees, they also they look for the light. Uh, uh, I mean, we all know, like if you put a plant near the windowsill, like it will turn toward the window, and then you have to turn around, keep turning around, right? For if you want the balanced plant, otherwise it will just turning one side. Okay, let's go to 21, the last verse. Last verse says, the eighth creation, talking about eighth creation. Translation, the eighth creation is that of the lower species of life, and they are of different varieties. Numbering 28. They are all extensively foolish and ignorant. They know their desirables by smell, but are unable to remember anything within the heart. Wow. So the eighth creation is that of the lower species of life. This refers to animals, birds, insects, fish, reptiles, all those except human beings, all the mobile species. See, unlike these plants that we just talked, these species are moving beings. They are called Jangama. They were called Stavara. These are Jangama Jivas. But still, their consciousness is very low compared to human beings. And actually, they form the major part, actually 8 million species among the 8.4 million species mentioned in our literatures, right? If we there is a famous verse in Vishnu Purana. Jalaja Navalakshani Sthavara Lakshvimsati Krimayo Rudra Sankhyaka Pakshinam Dasalakshanam Trimsal Lakshani Pasavaha Chatur Lakshani Manusaha, means there are 9 million species living in the water. Jalaja Navalakshani. And Sthavara Lakshvimsati. Vimsati means 20 or 2 million non-moving sthavara, like plants and trees. And then there is, what was that? Krimayo Rudra Sankhya. The Rudra means 11. So 1,100,000 species of insects and reptiles. So many, not counting individual species. And then Pakshinam Dasa Lakshanam means 1 million or 10 lakhs of birds, species of birds. And then Trimsal Lakshani Pasavaha, 3 million Pasavaha quadrupeds, or who stand on their 4 feet. And then only Chatur Lakshani Manusaha, 400,000 are the human species, the least one. But in this verse, in today's verse, Srila Prabhupada is writing, the eighth creation is that of the lower species of life, and they are of different varieties, numbering 28. And I never knew that before, or did not even pay attention to that number. So when I was looking through, and we could break that verse from Vishnu Purana, and it gives the exact number about the 28 varieties. And I know everyone might be like, the numbers is so bewildering. I have this slide also for that, both verses that we discussed this today. So these were the 10 divisions, and in verse 7, verse 19 and 19, 20 and 21, we read about the seventh creation and eighth creation. So the seventh creation were the immovable entities, Stavara, Jivas, fruit trees without flowers. There are 6 kinds. Fruit trees without flowers, plants that exist until fruit is ripe, creepers, lata, pipe-like plants like bamboos, creepers without support means that on the ground they just spread on the ground like sweet potato. I think sweet potato is also counted. I don't know. Just correct if I'm wrong. And then trees with flowers and fruits, that's common. So in eighth creation that is listed in verse 21 is talking about the lower species of life, like like Prabhupada said 28, and I was trying to match the number. So aquatics, fish, amphibians are of 9 species, 9 types of, and then reptiles are 2, right? And then insects and swarms are 3 types. Similarly, birds are 4 types. Animals like the quadrupeds, or even all these animals except quadrupeds, I would say 9. And then hybrid goats and pigs, they are in other categories. That makes 28. So these are the 28 varieties of the lower species of life. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is explaining more about these lower species of life, and he's saying like they are how they are. They are extensively foolish and ignorant. They are conscious. They have consciousness, but almost fully covered, or just a little bit. And then Srila Prabhupada says that they act purely on the instinct, not on higher intelligence. They eat, sleep, mate, and defend, but nothing about the inquiry or reflection on dharma or all those things. So uh, Srila Prabhupada is saying, like, I mean, not in this, but other. Oh, he's saying that even though they are souls like us, they are in evolutionary training, like experiencing their own karmic results and slowly progressing toward the human life again. Uh, uh, Ghanagya Ridyavedinaha. It says that they know their desirables by smell. Their main sense for survival is smell. Find food, identify their territory like dogs do, and recognize danger or mates, all those things. So all these things highlight the limited functioning of their intelligence, right? Guided mostly by the basic senses like smell. So they don't have any reflective memory, right? They cannot meditate or consciously change their habits. So the super soul, Paramatma, is present within them too, but they are not able to access him. Why? Due to their covered consciousness. And so even though they are the part and parcel of Krishna, but they are passing through the lower stages of evolution due to, we can say, past karma, right? So, but Krishna is so merciful that he accompanies every soul. We read in Canto 2 also, right, about, and especially in Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 also, about the Paramatma, Atma and Paramatma, we read in very detail. So even if we are in dogs or insects body, anywhere, he is with us as Paramatma. So this verse actually reminds us not to look down on lower species, but to value our human worth and use our human birth for self-realization before the opportunity is lost. I just remember the bhajan. Manusya janma paiya, Radha Krishna bhajiya, janiya suniya, bisa khaina. Right? Don't waste the rare human life in lower pursuits, because even animals eat, sleep, mate, and defend. And our real business is to awaken love for Krishna. So just to summarize today's class, I have a small, lecture that Srila Prabhupada gave in Conway Hall in London in 1969, just to wrap up our class and to listen from Srila Prabhupada so that it sets in our mind. Because until and unless we hear repeatedly, it doesn't set in our mind. So let's hear from Srila Prabhupada hammering our head again. Let me know if you can hear or not. I'll play and pause. Oops, sorry.
So this message
Yeah, we can hear.
of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Hare Krishna movement, is to warn you, don't spoil this opportunity of human form of life. Don't spoil. Ahara nidra bhayamaithanancha samanyametat pasubhi naranam. Eating, sleeping, mating and defending. These things are common to the animals and the human being. You eat, the animals eat. You sleep, the animals sleep. You mate, the animals mate. You are also afraid of your enemy, or they are also afraid of your enemy. So, by discovering very palatable dishes to eat, or fashionable dresses for sex life, or atom bomb for defending, eating, sleeping, mating and defending, these four principles, if you advance in these four principles only, that does not mean that you are better than animals. You are as good as animals. Then how we can utilize this human form of life? That is stated, dharmena hina pasubhi samana. Dharma. Dharma means not a religious faith. According to Sanskrit, dharma means constitutional position, which you cannot change. That is dharma. Just like sugar. Sugar is sweet. Similarly, whenever there is sugar, it must be sweet. If you say, oh, this sugar is salty, that is not sugar. So, sweetness is the dharma of sugar. That is real dharma. Not that today I accept Hinduism, next day I accept Christianism, or next day I accept Mohammedanism. These are not dharmas. Real dharma you cannot change. It is not possible to change. And what is that dharma? That dharma, Krishna says, sarva dharman parityajya. You give up all nonsense religion. Mamekam saranam. Just surrender. To surrender unto the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is real religion. And all other things are simply ritualistic or to lead one to that point. Real religion is when you surrender unto the Supreme Lord, that is your religion, real religion. Therefore Krishna says, Bohnam janmanamante jnanavan mana prapaddati. After many, many births, when he is actually intelligent, he surrenders unto the Supreme Lord. Vasudeva sarvamiti samahat.
Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone. If there is any more comment, additional points, please unmute. If you have any questions, you can ask Parikshit Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Peace upon all the basins. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Very nice lecture. Very, very, very nice. And then the way you ended it, and it's true. I haven't also heard about the 28 species broken down like that. We know all the big numbers, the millions, but that the 28 species broken down like that's very nice. And also the nature of plants, just the intelligence, very, very, very limited, very covered, but they do have emotions. And of course, you gave a nice example. Um, if you put a plant next to a windowsill, they will turn towards the light. Yeah, so obviously some intelligence is there, So you give all of those, it was very nice. And then the last lecture by Shiva Prabhupada, so basically telling us, after hearing all of these lower species, what they can do and what they are limited for, and then the human species is the one with the most intelligence. That's why I said, don't don't spoil. Don't spoil the opportunity that we have. So human beings, we have way more. We have much more to gain from this material world than any other species. If we take physical consciousness seriously, otherwise they would be like sophisticated animals. So I've heard that before, but it's always nice to have that repeated so that we know why we're Krishna consciousness. So those are some of the points that I wanted to put in. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Mother Vidyavali is there.
She is.
I love the comment.
Yes, Prabhu, I'm here. I'm listening what you were saying and what Shyamagori said. Mataji said. That's really, I don't have any comments on that, Mataji Prabhu. I'm not eligible for that. But I like the Prabhupada's lecture also. So that's all from my.
Sometimes we can share our experience, especially when the body gets old. You get so many realizations. Like I know I get it practically every day. Young people don't understand.
That's
They never
true.
understand because they're not experiencing it. So old age helps you to quickly detach from the material world. You look at the body that used to be able to do this, that. Now it's slow down so much.
That's true.
Yeah, it's not going to take me anywhere. It's now practically, the intelligence is there, but everything else about the senses is slowed down so much. Physical, the physical and the working senses have slowed down so much.
That's true, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Lot of differences, lot of changes have happened to the body. That I am experiencing with my age. Yes, younger age, whatever I learned in younger age, I still remember without writing, without noting down anywhere. But right now, few minutes ago, if somebody says something, I had to think for a few minutes to recollect that one. What did they say? So that weakness I'm feeling now. I feel so depressed sometimes. Oh God, I was like that, why it is becoming like this to me.
Very important statement. This is a lot of things that old people go through. It makes you depressed because you're surprised. 10, 20 years ago, I could have done this easily. Now I'm not able to. And it's frustrating. And the frustration leads, if you're not careful, into depression. Exactly what you're talking about.
Really, that is frustrating, Prabhu. I'm going through all that now. And I just now, I don't know, I just pray Krishna. Few minutes I think of Krishna and then I remember that word. So that is Krishna is helping me, but I always remember that sloka, he gives that remembrance and I'll give you intelligence and everything, but forgetfulness also. I don't remember that sloka, Prabhu.
It's in chapter 15, Bhagavad Gita, text 15. Sarvasya chaham
sannivishtam.
Shyamagori, you know it, right?
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm not putting you on the spot.
No. That's what is happening for me.
I'm seated in everybody's heart. For me, comes.
But I had to go through this thing.
Yeah. It also makes you more determined that if the body is going to give me this kind of trouble, why do I need another body again? Because it's going to take me through another thing like that, another life. What
That's true.
wants to be in another life? Yeah. It makes you think, I really should get out of here. Like Papa said, finish the business and go back to Godhead. Because then you will never be in a situation where the body breaks down like that. And it's slow and it can't, your mind wants to, but your body will not let you and that
Yeah,
sort of stuff.
mind wants to. Mind wants to. And sometimes I think, oh, from mind-wise, I am so young. But when body-wise, everything is becoming slow.
Yeah.
That's life.
So
Hare
it's good
Krishna.
realization that you get determined that I won't live this life again. It's too frustrating towards the end. Just
Yeah.
forget about it. Hare Krishna. Anyway,
Thank you. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Right. So I'm going back
Hare
to you,
Krishna.
Martin. Oh, Suma
Anyway,
Martin?
Mother Suman is talking. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want
Yes,
to say
yes.
that class is it's a very nice class, very nice, because I'm now beginning to understand little bit about creations. It's very, very confused. But after so many classes, I'm thinking now really beginning to understand little bit. It's very nice, very, very purifying. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
It's very scientific.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very scientific. Who else would talk about plants that way? The ones that are movable and they bear fruit, and some of them do not. And see, all of these people just take for granted. But when it's classified like that, that is scientific. No question.
Yeah.
Very nice. Hare Krishna. Back to
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Krishna.
So just as I was hearing all of you talk, I was wondering if we are still struggling with it, does it mean that we are having trouble having faith in what Krishna is saying? If we are still struggling with
You're not.
accepting, yeah. I mean, so I'm just trying to figure out how to go about this. Like, self-assess myself, I guess. Basically, that's what I'm trying to.
We all have faith.
Mataji,
Yeah.
can you? I'm sorry to cut you, but you said when you're struggling with it, what did you mean by it?
Struggling with, you were talking about the body is not cooperating, which is what we have been told all along. At different stages, we are at different stage of our body strength, right? And when we are young, it's nice and good. Then it slowly starts to dwindle. And so, but we are still feeling bad that the body is dwindling. We knew the body would dwindle.
Oh,
We are told the body will dwindle. If I'm still struggling with it, is it because my faith in what Krishna said is not so strong? Is that why I'm struggling?
I don't think so at all.
No.
I think it's just a question of hearing about it when
Mm.
you're younger and then experiencing it when you get older. That's the difference. It's one thing to hear about it, but when you get inside, when you, so it's like that. Oh, okay. So then you begin to, this is for real. This is for real. The body really slows down bad. It's not like you wouldn't believe, it's like everything else. When you're not in it, you have experience of it. I mean, you have experience of just hearing it. It's just, and then you get into it, and then you look at what you had heard before, and now you're experiencing it at an old age. And then you look around you for all these people that are younger that are still moving around much faster, like you used to. It gives you some realizations, especially in little kids, those that are 5, 6, 7 years old. They can run around. I mean, how many adults, 20, 30 years old, can run at these kids? And then when they finish, they're not even tired. But that's the body. And it breaks down. So it still comes to the same thing.
That doesn't mean we don't have faith in Krishna. It is just natural thinking that, oh, I used to run like that. I used to remember like that. oh, now my body is changing. That doesn't mean because my body is not moving or thinking, I am lost my thinking, taking time. But that doesn't mean that I don't believe on Krishna. We believe in Krishna, but we think of our body, oh God, these are the changes I'm going through.
The body is going through.
That is what realization, that's all.
Yeah.
But not that we don't have any faith on Krishna. Krishna, that is what I was telling. Sometimes I don't remember. I said, oh Krishna, you gave me this forgetfulness. How can I remember that name? I want to tell that person about the devotee or something. I'm not recollecting that name. Then after a few minutes, I get that name. That what is that? Krishna's faith. I have faith on Krishna because he's giving me the remembrance again. But it takes some time.
Yeah. Mataji, in the broader scheme of things, though, forgetfulness is also good.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
In the broader scheme of things, the overall bigger picture, when you look at it, we are still, here's the reason, we are conditioned souls now, which means we did some things in the previous life that were not good. Because if we had done good things and stuck with Krishna, we'd probably be in the spiritual world now. But since we are conditioned souls, we're here, we did some bad things.
Yeah.
That's why we're here. Now, would you like to remember what the bad things you did in the previous life? No, yeah. So forgetfulness is very good then. It's better you don't remember those things because we were criminals, just to give a general, we were wrongdoers in the previous life. So Krishna has given us mercy by not having us remember those times. Therefore, from that standpoint, forgetfulness is also good. Just the immediate things that we want to remember, sometimes we forget, then we get frustrated. Oh, I used to remember this. But as far as previous life goes, the things that we did that were bad, I'd rather not remember them.
Not only that, Prabhu, our loved ones, we always think that, oh God, without that loved one, I cannot live. My mother, I used to think. But now I'm here. After she left, and I am here. But I used to think without her, how can I live? But those things, forgetfulness is giving. But sometimes I remember my mother, not that every day I am crying for my mother.
Yeah.
So my realization is if I cry also, I don't get back my mother again. This life.
Yeah, several levels of, the whole lecture in itself. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. That is our old age experience.
Thank you for the realization. But when Mother Vrindavali was saying, not Madhusavara was saying that, like, I feel like I stand in that same point too. Like, we are learning about all these things, we know all these things, but what are we going to do about that? And when you're just saying that, just this thing came into my mind and I looked up, Srila Prabhupada, that's why Srila Prabhupada gave us this many literatures, but we don't have time for that.
Yeah.
So in the Nectar of Instruction verse, he writes that bhakti is a sort of cultivation. So, and he said, as soon as we say cultivation, we must refer to activity. Cultivation of spirituality does not mean sitting down idly for meditation, as some teach. And then he says this in this verse where, we know all these things and how do we go about? And then he gives the 6 principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service. उत्साह निश्चय धैर्य तत्तत् कर्म प्रवर्तनात् संग त्याग चतुर्वृत्तेः षड्वीर भक्ति प्रसिद्ध्यति. Those 6 principles, right? Once we know that, then we follow the 6 principles: being enthusiastic, endeavoring with confidence, being patient, acting according to regulated principles, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaram, abandoning the association of non-devotees, following the footsteps of previous acharyas. And he says these 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service.
Yep, very important.
And this is association with devotees that helps a lot. Not that, if we don't have any time to read the books or concentration or anything. Like this we discuss, then with association with the devotees, then we'll have a lot of things, we know a lot of things. no matter whether young or old.
Yeah. We share knowledge. Yeah, socially, you share knowledge like that. That's very, very. Everybody gets to know each other. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you, Madhusudana.
Hare Krishna. Okay. All right.
If I don't see any more hands up. Everybody have a wonderfully Krishna conscious Sunday today. Everywhere there will be Sunday feast lectures. So we will see you at the temples.
And again, wish you all happy Father's Day. Let's
Oh,
remember
happy
our
Father's Day.
Supreme Father.
Supreme Father.
Hare Krishna.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyev cha patitanam Vaishnavebhyo namo.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So nice to see you.
Nice to
Very
hear
nice
you.
lecture.
Nice to see your smiling face.
Yes. I didn't want to say it, but since Mother Vindhyavana say I support that, I love that smiling face.
Thank you.
My dear
Thank
Terry.
you.